Joey, as a previous winner at Pocono, do you look at this weekend to be a good jumping-off point to get back into the top 10 in the championship standings after winning here last year?
I think it'd be a great opportunity, and I look at the first race we've had in Pocono this year. We had a really good car. Qualifying got rained out, so we had to start a little further to the back than we wanted to. And we fought all day on trying to get our car good enough to be up front and then get in that track position. And I think we finished 10th. And I felt like we were a lot better than that. So going back to a good racetrack for me in the past, going back to a racetrack for the first time in the 22 car. Every track we've gone to so far has been the first time I've gone to a racetrack with Todd Gordon and his 22 team as a team. So, be able to go to a racetrack for the second time, I think there's some advantages with that also.
Our first question is from Zach Albert from NASCAR.com. Zach, please state your question.
Hey, Joey. Thanks for joining us today. Two questions, actually. How badly did you guys need a solid finish at Indy after the runs that you had at Daytona and New Hampshire? And I guess that means you still have plenty of work to do before before Chase cutoff time as well.
Yeah, we need 6 more really good races. We need them really bad. Just like you said, we obviously we knew we were better than the last 2 finishes we've had there at Daytona and Loudon. Those 2 tire failures that put us with 2 40th place finishes. We know we're better than that as a team, leading up with a lot of top 10s going into that, and then obviously having an uneventful race at Loudon or at Indy the last weekend. I was able to build up some of that confidence again throughout the team. Not that I feel like we lost much. When you run bad and it's out of your control, you don't lose much confidence. But if you just run slow, obviously that's a confidence killer. So I feel like the team's still spirits were high, and I think like we said earlier, going into Pocono, I feel like that actually brings even more confidence into the team. So I feel really good about our chances this weekend.
Okay. And this may be nothing, but is there any backstory at all to the team's choice of car number 48 for the nationwide race that you guys will be running at Watkins Glen?
No, I don't. I don't think there's any backstory behind that one, but I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, man, Todd's going to call the race for us, and I was like, well, I'm just going to call him Chad, and you can call me Jimmy. So I think if I don't win in the 48 car, we got an issue.
Great, thanks so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. Scott, please state your question.
Good morning, Joey. Do you feel that now, in order to make the chase now, that points is out of the question, that you've got to win at least 2 races over the next 6 races to get in? No. I think we can do it in points. We can break ourselves in the top 10. We did this already once, coming from more than 35 points back, and brought ourselves into the top 10. So in a shorter amount of time than we got right now. So we're right on edge of not being able to do that, though, in my eyes and in Todd's eyes. We can make it in points. We're not to the point that we're going to take a big gamble and go for a win, and if it doesn't work out, we're going to finish 25th. We can't quite do that yet, but we're really, really close. We're one bad race away from we need to win or finish 25th. We're not there yet, but we're one race from it, I think. It's frustrating, and it's kind of funny how these points go. We run 8th last weekend, and you gain 1 point to the chase, and that's it. But it closes everything up, and we went through this earlier this year, and trying to make up a lot of points, and you run 3 or 4 weeks in the top 10, and you don't gain hardly any spots and points, and then all of a sudden it happens really quick. In one race you'll gain 4 spots, and the next one you gain 3 spots, and it's just closing up that gap to all the cars in front of you, and then those positions seem to change quicker. So obviously it's really close, between 19th and 8th, 7th, 8th. So we don't feel like we're out of it by no means. We feel like we can definitely get into this chase by points. But yes, a win would be huge right now. That would be a big confidence builder for us, and would obviously help us a lot get into the chase. You Can you talk just a little bit about the differences? Obviously, it's the same track that you were at, back in June, but with the weather maybe being a little warmer. Can you talk about some of the differences that Pocono might bring from the first race in June to this race in August?
Well, hopefully it's dry. That would be nice. But there is some differences. NASCAR's opened up their gear rule a little bit for ratios. So obviously people are going to be playing a little bit with that stuff. And shoot, I mean, these cars, this new Gen 6 car is developed so quickly, and all these teams are trying different things, and the stuff they've been working on that they've raced, stuff they raced early in the season, they probably won't come back and race again because people are developing new stuff so quick that if you race what you raced your last time, you're behind the times and you're not probably going to be as good as you were. So you just got to always be looking ahead and trying to find a little bit more. And the racetrack changes a little bit because it'll be a little warmer out, but the racetrack's going to be the least amount of change compared to what the cars are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Bill Fleischman with Philadelphia Daily News. Bill, please state your question.
Good morning, Joey. It's your fifth full season in the Sprint Cup Series. You have 2 wins. I think people in racing know how difficult it is to win in the series, but I'm just wondering if at this point in your career, has it been tougher than you expected? Maybe by now you expected to have, half a dozen wins.
Obviously, yes, it is tough, but this year has gone very well in my eyes. We've had really fast race cars. We've had opportunities to win, but yes, we've had a lot of adversity. When you look at there's 2 40th place finishes. You look at the issues you had in the beginning of the year. You look at a penalty. I feel like this year we're easily a chase contending team that's capable, I think, of winning a championship. Right now we're out of position because some things that were our fault and some things that we couldn't control. So that's part of our sport, and that's how it goes. But we're in contention of winning races now. I'm excited about that. I had to go through a learning curve when I first started racing Cup in a lot of different areas and on a lot of different things. And I feel like having this fresh start here at Penske Racing and with Shell and Pennzoil and Roger and Brad and Todd and all these guys, we're all working great together. So I feel like we're right on the verge of getting that win this season and getting ourselves in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad at this time. Our next question is from Jeff Gluck with USA Today. Jeff, please state your question.
Yeah, Joey, I wanted to ask you about the points roller coaster. You touched on it a little bit earlier about the wild swings going from, like 18th to 10th and back to 18th. But I was wondering, how your mentality changes during those weeks. I mean, do you, when you're on a big boost, do you suddenly get on a high and then, is it crushed when you slip back in points, or do you try to stay even keeled? How do you manage the emotions of the swing and the points?
The goal is to stay even keel. Easier said than done, though. Obviously, yes, when you're moving up through the points, that's obviously when it's the easiest. You get a lot of confidence, you get a lot of momentum, and everyone's attitudes are great. You have 2 bad finishes. Yes, it hurts. It takes some wind out of your sail for sure, but you have to find the silver lining. Wherever it is, and look forward, and the more you dwell on this stuff, it just hurts the team. It's my job and Todd's job as the team leaders here to make sure that doesn't happen with our team. Make sure our team stays confident and knowing that they can go out there and win races, and knowing that we as a team can win races, even when we have a bad race. We're going to have bad races. That's part of racing. That's part of anything. It's part of life. But you got to learn from the mistakes and move on. When the more you dwell on it, the more you're just hurting yourself. And like I said, you can't forget about it. You got to learn from it and then move on.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question is from Dwight Drum from Racetake.com. Dwight, please state your question.
Thank you. Joey, can you explain how it was for you? Mentioned you're your youngest guy to win a Pocono. How it was for you being young and learning young while moving up to NASCAR levels?
It was difficult, and there's a lot more to it than I thought. Just like any 18-year-old kid, I thought I knew everything, and turns out I didn't. But no, I mean, I got into a nationwide car, when I was 18, in a really good nationwide car, able to go out there and win races really quick. And all of a sudden, all right, now you think, okay, I got this figured out. I'm pretty good. We're going to be all right. And then, they put you in a Sprint Cup car, and then you start to struggle. And then that's an eye-opening experience there. And you don't know where to even start. You don't know what you don't know. You don't even know where to go to make yourself better. And so the first thing you have to do is figure out what you can do to make yourself better, what areas you need to work on, and then start working on them. And that's not an overnight procedure. That takes a long time to figure out what's wrong and then trying to fix it. And it's taken me years. And I don't think you're ever there. You're always looking for that extra little bit. As a driver, and I expect that throughout the whole team, which I see that here at Penske Racing. So I'm happy where I am now. Like I said, I'm not content though. Obviously, I want to be out there and want to be winning races and running up front. But I do see the gains we've made throughout the last few years. I've made throughout the last 3 years, and I've seen the gains that we've made at Penske since I've started here. So. I'm excited about all that.
Great. What advice would you give to a young person? Obviously, you've touched on it, but a young person there's so many young guys trying to move up to NASCAR. What would be 1 or 2 things that you would share with them that might help them?
It's hard to do that, and it's funny you bring that up. I was talking to someone yesterday at his kid's driving a Legends car. And he's 15 years old, and like, what would you say to someone that's running a Legends car, at 15? And at that point, that's in all honesty, the most fun you're gonna have. That's you're going out there as a recreational sport. You're having fun. You're young. You're getting to drive a race car. How cool is that? And not everyone gets the opportunity to do that. So you got to enjoy this. And I make sure every day I wake up and I pinch myself because this is a dream come true for me. Don't get me wrong, but it is a lot of work and it is very stressful at the same time. But when you run good, like I've been saying, when you run good, it makes all this worth it, and this is what I want to do. So, but I think as a younger kid, you have such an opportunity to drive a race car and have fun with it. Have fun, and obviously you have to work hard though to win. It's still, even at that level, you need to work on your cars. You need to learn your cars and learn what does what, and learn how to race. And there's struggles even when you first start racing because you don't know how to race anyone and what to do in certain situations, and that's just part of a learning curve that you go through, just like you would in any other sport. If you're playing baseball, you don't know how to play baseball when you first start. You got to figure it all out. So just enjoy the experience.
Thanks, Joey. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next question is from Bob Pockris from Sporting News. Bob, please state your question.
Yeah, Joey, I'm curious if you targeted any of the upcoming races as ones that you feel like you maybe have a better chance to win than some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, there is a few that stand out. I think Pocono this weekend is one that stands out. I think you look at Bristol. We've had a really fast car there in the spring that was capable of winning. So that one stands out. Watkins Glen actually stands out to me to a race that we can win. The next few races coming up, I feel really good about that I feel like we can win at. So I don't see any bad tracks coming up for me right now that I'm worried about. So we just got to capitalize on the tracks that are typically good for me and good for this race team, and try to put our Shell Pennzoil forward in victory lane.
And how have the last couple of weeks kind of changed your outlook at all as far as either strategy or preparation, considering you're just taking a big hit in the points?
Like I said earlier, it didn't really change our strategy yet, but we're getting close. We're one bad race away. But I think if we top 10 this out, I think we can get into the chase by points. But we're one bad race from needing to go for it and changing our strategy. But I mean, hey, that's what we're thinking. You know, everyone's going to have a different opinion on that, and you know, depending on where they are in points and what's going on. So nothing's changed here. Our confidence is still high. You know, in all honesty, I think winning that Chicago race on our off weekend was nothing but good for me. You know, you're coming out of 2 straight 40th place finishes, and you get to go out there and you win in Chicago in the Hertz car. That's big, and that transfers over to the Cup side as much as some people don't think it does. You know, that definitely does. Even though those guys weren't at the racetrack, seeing that win and going through this whole race shop, you know, bringing home a trophy to this race shop is important for the company.
Thank you. Our next question is from Robert DeRogi from BRD Broadcasting. Robert, please state your question.
Thank you. Joey, a couple of weeks ago I had an interview with you, and a fan called me and asked me this. They said, you know, Joey's competed in all 3 of the NASCAR divisions. Out of the 3 divisions, is there one division that he looks forward to, or is it just racing that's in his blood so he doesn't care?
It's just racing. I like to race, and you know, obviously winning a Sprint Cup race is going to mean more than winning a nationwide race, and winning a nationwide race is going to mean more than winning a truck race. But a win's a win, and I'm going to be excited about it either way. But it's just the level of difficulty keeps going up as you move up through the ranks. You know, so when you win a Sprint Cup race, that means a lot. But I'm a racer. I love racing, whether it's at a go-kart track or a four-wheeler or whatever. That's what I love to do, and I'm very fortunate and blessed to get to drive a race car for a living. Like, what's cooler than that? So, like I said, I enjoy that fact, and getting to race against the best race car drivers in the world, like, I'm all about that. That's a lot of fun.
I'll go out this weekend and get a couple more championship points, and it'll ease some of the tension.
10-4, thanks.